What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. As always, I am Camtastic, and this is In Response, where every other week, three, sometimes four, sometimes zero friends gather around their desks and update you on the going ons in the CEDH world and our personal journeys through the format. Joining me this week are my co-hosts, Nico, aka Mexidelight. How you doing this week, Nico?
Hanging in there, man. Enjoying the week, staying cool, and ready to talk about some Edge of Eternity's cards.
Awesome. Yeah, it is hot out there. So my other co-host we have with us, or our other co-host, I should say, is Julian, also known as the Magician MTG. How are you doing this week?
Doing good. Excited that it's Friday tomorrow, end of the work week, getting ready for the weekend to start. So, and also excited for pre-release next weekend for Edge of Eternities. So, ready
Yeah,
for the
lots of
cards to get in my hands.
lots of Edge of Eternities going around right now, which will be the topic of our show today. So we're going to be talking mostly about cards that we think might possibly be CDH viable in Edge of Eternities. So yeah, let's get it kicked off. You guys have any cards you want to start off with?
Yeah, so I was going through just what's on Scryfall in the base set right now, not the commander stuff, and pulled 10, 11 cards here that certainly not all of them are going to see play, maybe none of them. But yeah, let's talk about a few that might get slotted into some decks, maybe some more fringe things, if anything. But the first one, the new Tezzeret Cruel Captain, 3 mana, legendary planeswalker, comes in with 4 loyalty. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tezzeret. Its 0 is untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. -3, which here I think is the main one, is search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then its ultimate is a -7. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 1/1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature. So I think as a previous Kinnan player, obviously it's not Tezzeret the Seeker, which you can go get Basalt Monolith off of, but the immediate tutor for an artifact, value 1 or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, I think it can be pretty powerful. The fact that it gets a loyalty every time you get an artifact entering under the battlefield under your control, you could potentially be ulting it on the turn you cast it. And then untapping target artifact or creature, that's always powerful as well, depending on what your deck is trying to do. And this being a 3 mana, 3 colorless mana planeswalker, could fit in literally anything. Maybe not build around, but certainly in the 99 to help out with whatever lines people are going for. But that was my first pick, and I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's no One Ring where it's going to be like a universal card. I don't think it's at that powerful, but I do think that there can be a few lines that you can definitely do, and with that the -3 to kind of be just a situational tutor. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I think it's all
options.
right.
Playing Gear Hulk, I know there's a lot of options at one or less. So I think it could surprise some people, but um, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I mean Urza would love it. I think it'd be played in Joyra maybe as an alternate non-combo win
Sure.
con. Flubs potentially. I'm
I
thinking
feel
of
like any
Cheerio stuff.
Boros, yeah,
Mhm.
Boros might enjoy it to be able to fetch up a mana rock or something that they need.
Or even
Esper
just like a
Sentinel.
Shadow Spear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because actually, good point, Nico. Like the -3 for it to search for mana value 1 or less does not mean that it is the one generic in
Right.
the mana spot. It can be a Esper Sentinel which costs 1, even though it is just a single white pip.
Right. So we'll
So
see.
not a lot of people know that.
All right. Next one I had. This is definitely a maybe, and pretty much only because of the new warp mechanic that is on the card. But it is Exalted Sunborn, 3 and 2 white for a 4/5 angel wizard with flying and lifelink. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Now here's where I think it has the value is the bottom text. It has warp 2, so a generic and 1 white. And warp is a new mechanic in the set, so I'll read it straight off the card. You may cast this card from your hand for its warp cost. Exile this creature at the beginning of the next end step, then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. So thinking specifically here, Marnius, or anything else that cares about token generation, the fact that you can warp this in for 2, generate all your tokens, get double those tokens, and then at end step this gets exiled. And if the game goes into mid or late game, you can potentially then just cast it again. Second time would be for the full 5 mana cost. But that 2 mana instant ability to double all tokens that are created on a turn seems good. And I believe, Judge, correct me here if I'm wrong, but warp is instant speed. So you can warp it on somebody else's turn if you happen to be playing it at flash speed with Born Upon the Wind, or if you're just getting hella value because people are not paying their Smothering Tithe triggers when they're, drawing a bunch of cards or something like that. But 2 mana, double all your tokens in a turn, seems like it could be pretty powerful.
So warp is an alternate casting cost. So the only time that you'd be able to play that at instant speed is if it had flash.
Okay.
Or if
not you are like through an emergent zone or something like
correct.
that.
Yeah. If it were to be granted the ability to be played at instant speed, you can warp it at instant speed. But under normal circumstances, warp is still a alternate casting cost, so it is under normal timing restrictions.
Okay. Well, still doubling tokens for 2 mana for a turn seems good. Any hot take on that, Cam?
I don't know. I feel like Marnius is always getting a card, like Taru and like stuff. So I'm trying to figure out where this belongs, because
I'm not a fan of Taru since you bring it up. I don't like giving
Really?
opponents the ability to draw. And especially in Esper, I feel like there's tons of other ways to draw than playing Taru.
Mm.
yeah,
I disagree. I think Taru is probably now like maybe on the same level as Lotho for Marnius.
yeah, Taru is pretty
Interesting.
good at Marnius. Um, I I'm trying to think of like explosive turns that Marnius has where it would want to warp it in and then make like a bunch of treasures, because generally it's incrementally. I'm just thinking of how our Marnius player pilots it. It's like gaining incremental value. Like it's Smothering Tithe, 1
Tempo.
turn, 2 turn, Lotho, 1 turn around, 2 turn around. So I don't know how much value they'd get out of actually warping it, unless they're like going for
Sure.
it on their turn, which then at some point that just kind of becomes win more. Um, I know
True.
our Marnius players on High Fae, so that could play into it. Like you said, it turns somebody's going off, and you're just like, they're just like, oh, I'm not going to pay for tithe. All right, cool. Just slide this in there. But I also think 5 mana is not that much. I mean, like Marnius is 5 mana. Like that's their job, is to get to 5 mana.
Yeah.
Like so.
This is a 4/5 flying lifelink, so it's a good body, gives you life back, it has evasion. Yeah.
And like it
Yeah.
says you draw 2 cards when trigger Marnius twice.
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to touch on. So it is a replacement effect
One
because of
or
the word.
more
It's
instead.
yes, it is 1 or more instead. So if you were to create 1, you create 2, and they will both enter at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Loses
makes
a
a lot of
little
sense.
bit of value there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely loses some
So,
value there.
but I
Yeah.
will say though, on the note of the fact that our Marnius player does play High Fae, one trick that not a lot of players know, with in this case warp, it says to exile that creature at the beginning of the next end step. If you warp the creature in or
End
cast
step.
if you warp that creature in at somebody's end step or in somebody's end step, it will not go away that end step. So you can then untap and have it the entire turn of your turn, the entire time of your turn until your end step.
Sure.
So 2 mana invested through flash on an opponent's end step gives you an exalted Sunborn the whole time on your turn.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
So
definitely
fringe.
that
We'll see.
yeah. Yeah, that misinterpretation of the rules definitely docks some value from it for sure.
Yeah.
Um I don't I don't see it seeing play, but it'd be really cool if there was some deck that could take advantage of the warp ability or just doubling up on tokens in general.
Yeah. All right. Next one I got for us is Consult the Star Charts, kind of a new impulse card here. It's a blue instant for 1 and a blue, has kicker for 1 and a blue. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. So already can be powerful right there. Put 1 of those cards into your hand. If this spell was kicked, put 2 of those cards into your hand instead. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So immediately you just cast it for 2. You're looking at the top 2, putting 1 into your hand, assuming you only have just 2 lands, like on turn 2. But mid game, late game, especially if you do the kicker, you could be looking at 4, 5, 6, 7 cards, putting 2 of them into your hand. Good way to dig a little deep. Seems like it could be a more powerful impulse. All those is it players out there, maybe this is an upgrade or just an extra card to play that does more of the same is it stuff. But yeah, thought this one was interesting as well.
Yeah, that's a good consideration for Thrasios decks.
Yep.
Because I mean, 4 mana, that's a Thrasios activation. Yeah, it's double blue, but that's a Thrasios activation that you can be looking at the top, 6 cards,
Yeah.
and putting 2 of them into your hand, and that way you don't even have to reveal them, as opposed to flipping them off of Thrasios. So
Yeah. And I'm
that's a good card.
specifically thinking as a Krakashima player as well. I mean, you get a bunch of copies of this and you're digging, you know, however many lands. I feel like I typically had 3, 4 lands on board when I was doing the thing. So, if you have a couple harmonic prodigy type effects, you're getting, 4 copies of this thing, digging 16 cards deep. Um, yeah.
Definitely, that is a good card.
Yeah,
Cam?
I think that there's a lot of value right now in cards that put cards into your hand. Things like stock
Put,
up.
yeah, not draw.
Yeah, because there's bowmasters everywhere, so you want things that put to your hand. I know Krakashima's on stock up right now, which is insane. If you just hit like off a naked Kark, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna pay 3 mana, I'm gonna dig 10 cards deep and choose 4 cards. Like it's pretty good. And so this has to beat that out. I know a lot of people are back on Impulse. They were really red cantrip heavy, just going straight for it, turboing it out. But now a lot of people are back on Impulse because of Bowmasters and things of that nature. So I can see
Fair.
this card if Izzet decks are looking for a second Impulse. I problem is I don't know if there's like a lot of Izzet decks out there that aside from like VV and like Krakashima and stuff. So and VV operates on a low land count. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a VV card
Yeah.
because they rely on
It could
VV's
be the
mana.
new could be the new Niv Mizzet too. Niv Mizzet Visionary. Um, for a B plus tier. Is it Commander?
Yeah.
In uh
So
in Vegas, I played against a guy who was running, I think it's Iruth, and is it where instead of drawing a card,
yes.
you exile the top 2? So I saw him fizzle out quite a few times, and then losing all those cards. So this could be a potential way to keep digging, but also keep your hand full a little bit and not lose all the cards you're getting into exile.
Yeah,
So
that's
Yeah.
true
again, maybe
because
a little
you're
fringe
not.
there.
Yeah, that's true because it's hard to refill your hand in Aerith.
Hmm.
Ral, I forgot about Ral. Ral's an Izzet deck. That's really doing really well right now. I don't know if it's a Ral card either. It's hard because in CDH you generally, if you're powering out mana, you don't have lands. Like you're generally using a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. I think if you want draw effects that don't actually draw a card, then this is great. Especially if you're looking
Yep.
for an alternative to Impulse or something to add an addition to Impulse. Being at instant speed definitely makes it a contender.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good card. Good card, Nico.
All right, next one I had here. This one's back in like the mindset of Marnius. Again, we've got a local Marnius player here. So Moonlit Meditation. It is an enchantment aura for 2 and a blue. Enchant artifact or creature you control. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of enchanted permanent. So I'm thinking right off the bat, the One Ring. Enchant that One Ring. You're making copies of One Ring. You can activate and draw before they die to legend effect.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's
Huh?
No,
state-based actions.
No?
it
Yeah.
wouldn't. It's a state-based action.
Oh, okay. Can't interact with that. My
No.
bad. So then, yeah, I don't know. Enchant artifact or creature, and you can make copies of that artifact or creature instead of the tokens you would normally generate.
Yeah. Still though, I think there's still some value stuff like
Esper Sentinel
yeah,
or
Esper
similar.
Sentinel
Yeah,
is
copy
definitely a good
effects
one.
are copy effects are real. Somebody's Phyrexian Metamorph. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, copy
It
You
does
effects are very
say
powerful.
artifact. It does say artifact or creature you control, so you have to control it already. But again, that's where I was thinking with the amount of clones these days. You clone somebody else's something, and then you're copying it again because you enchanted your own clone.
Yep. Yeah,
I don't know.
Phyrexian Metamorph with this does really well, but also even just valuing it on a treasure, on your own treasure token,
Sure.
Throw it on a mana vault.
just as long as you,
Yeah. Mana
yeah,
Vault, Grim Monolith, for sure.
And Marnius is on both of those for sure. I know for sure they're on Grim Monolith. Yeah, I could see it slapped on a mana vault.
I
Seems
gotta
pretty good.
I gotta stop giving Ed new cards to think about.
I know I found one too that I'm gonna say too.
All
It's
right,
too much
next one I got
spice.
for us. Yeah. Next one I think is an Atali card, but we'll see here. So Devastating Onslaught, X, X, and red. It is a sorcery. Create X tokens that are copies of target artifact or creature you control. Those tokens gain haste until end of turn. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. So anybody familiar with Atali, you cast this on your own Atali. You got a bunch of copies. I know we were talking about this before the episode, but if you hit it off Atali, then it's a dead card. But I feel like it could be extremely powerful if they draw it into hand or something like that.
Yeah, the only thing is that it's a 3 mana copier, which
Sure.
there's already a plethora of 3 mana copy effects that Atali runs. So I don't know if they want a third one because even electrostatic, no, electro duplicate is better than this. But if you are really wanting to jam a lot more copy effects, yeah, onslaught's definitely an option.
Yeah, especially if you have a Cradle as a Tali and you've just got a bunch of mana that you can just dump into.
Mhm.
Just dump into it. It could be
It
almost like a
does
revalue.
feel, yeah, maybe it's a little bit win more again. How many more copies of Italia do you need if you're already making copies? But yeah,
You always
thought it
need
was
more
cool.
Atalis. Always. I think that's the rule about Atali
Interesting.
is it's never enough Atalis.
Never enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not piloted Italy and I haven't honestly played against it too much, so I just know Italy go burr really. But
Yep.
all right,
So
moving on
we'll
to
have
the
to see.
next one here. Oh, what was that? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying we'll have to see on that one.
Yeah. All right, and I'm just keeping the pace up because I know you guys have cards to talk about, and I got another 4 or 5 here. So,
Let's do it.
um, yeah, Frenzied Baloth. So 2 green for a 3/2 creature beast. This spell can't be countered. It has trample haste. Creature spells you control can't be countered, and combat damage can't be prevented. So not sure right off the top of my head what deck this would go into. Obviously a green something or other, but just it's got a lot of spicy stuff on it. 2 mana, can't be countered. It's a 3/2 trample haste. The fact that your creatures now can't be countered and combat damage can't be prevented. So anybody who's relying on combat damage, um, hell, even like I had a thought my Atraxa deck, like sometimes it'd be nice to just get a guaranteed seven damage with Atraxa, and I run a lot of creatures into Traxa, so not having them be able to be countered would be nice. But yeah, just some good, powerful sentences in there, I feel like.
Yeah. One thing to note, combat damage can't be prevented means even through the One Ring, because protection is debt, DEBT, damage. Damage would be prevented in the case of which you would be on the receiving end of an attacker, and with
Okay.
the effect of damage can't be prevented, you can still get through even through the One Ring protection.
Mono green players, there you go.
Yeah, I think
That-
I thought it's Holly when I saw the card. I know they play Destiny Spinner if they want another one of this effect. I don't
sure.
think the only thing is I don't know if double green on turn 2 is where they want to be.
Yeah.
They would have to,
Yeah, I don't think
have a
so.
dork, or because they'd have a dork, wall of roots, or some play like that, because it wouldn't be strike it rich, it wouldn't be orcish lumberjack. So that's the only thing. I don't know how many effects Atali needs or wants, but if Destiny Spinner is not enough, then definitely consideration for them, I think.
Sure. And I have heard of some rare occasions where Atali gets flipped and then like somebody gets taken out with the poison counters or whatever. So to be able to prevent or that damage not can't be prevented, that could be helpful in a bind.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next one, Ice Till Explorer. It's a 2/4 insect scout creature for 2 and 2 green. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. You may play lands from your graveyard, and then it has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, mill a card. So do the land thing more. Personally, I've never played a Lands Matters deck. I'll probably need to put one together here at some point. Maybe if they come out with a new Lands Matter commander sometime soon. But this seems like it does all the things a lands deck wants to do. Play additional lands, play them from your graveyard, and mill when you get a landfall.
Sounds like a good Wandering Minstrel card or
Oh,
Lumra.
there you go. Wandering Minstrel. Tim is happy.
Yeah, Wandering
Yeah.
Minstrel and Lumra. That's actually where the Bailoff probably goes to, is in Lumra.
Sure.
Yeah, I can definitely see it in Minstrel. Like you said, it does what 2-3 CMC cards normally do. Like, all the new play an extra land cards that Wizards has been printing since Azusa are like 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Crucible and we've got Remnant Excavator also at 3 mana. So you're pretty much getting six CMC worth of effect on a 4 mana creature, which
Yep.
seems like a good rate for sure. And it's a tutorable
And it's got a
body.
big butt. Yep. It's
Yeah,
got a big butt. 2/4.
It's a
yeah. So
Tymna
it's
blocker.
Bowmaster proof. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, maybe we'll see that one hit some play then, more so than some of the others I've mentioned.
Yeah, could
All
be a
right.
get
Next
rug card
one.
too.
Yeah, get rug. Next one here, biotech specialist. So this is Gruul. So it's a red and a green for a 1/3 insect scientist. When this creature enters, create a lander token. And lander tokens are brand new to Edge of Eternities. They are it's an artifact with 2 generic tap and sack it. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When you sacrifice an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. So seems good. People sacking tokens all the time, treasures, any kind of artifact token generator deck. Yeah, dealing 2 damage to the face, shocking people all the time. Creates its own token on ETB. Seems like it could be some kind of crazy synergy stuff going on there.
Yeah, I think just the flaw of it being to target opponent. If it was either any target or each opponent, I think obviously it would make the card better, and I think it would see play, but I think with the restriction of just target opponent, I don't think it's going to see play. But
Sure.
I could be wrong.
Dargo Thras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dargo
Dargo
Thras.
Thras.
Dargo cares about that for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
that's not a bad one. And then I didn't catch this before, but it makes total sense. The lander tokens search for a basic land, so that can be very limiting. I know personally, I run very few, if any, basics in CDH decks these days.
Yeah, most of the time, if you're in green, you're running basics. You're either 1 or 2 colors, but if you're 3 colors, you're probably running Earthcraft. So it's
Yeah,
decent if you're on Earthcraft.
Sure. All right, 3 more to go on my list. Next one is a potential new commander, maybe the best so far that I've seen, and knowing that not all the spoilers are out yet, and I haven't finished looking through all the Edge of Eternity stuff, but Ragost, Deft Gastronaut, for Boros, a red and a white, 2/2 Lobster Citizen. Loving the lobster thing here. This is just too much fun. Artifacts you
roll.
control. Lobster roll, yeah, new take on a sushi deck for sure. Artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types, and gain the food text. 2 generic, tap it, sack the artifact, gain 3 life. Its second ability here is 1 and tap it, sack a food. Ragos deals 3 damage to each opponent. So since all your artifacts are now foods, you can activate and sack any artifact to deal 3 damage to each opponent. And then at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, untap Ragost. So in theory, 4 turns in a turn cycle, you're doing 12 damage to each opponent in a turn cycle. Seems pretty
Yeah.
good.
And it goes really well with the Nuka Cola machine from
Remind me what that
Fallout.
does.
Oof, that one has got some text. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, you'll see it right here, chat.
Nuka Cola vending machine. That is a 3-mana artifact. Pay 1 tap, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a food token, create a tapped treasure token.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Academy Manufacturer comes to mind. I mean, anybody doing that kind of stuff, I feel like that's a must-have in there. So I feel like we'll see a lot of this, especially in casual. I know a friend of ours is just like a constant Boros player. Shout out to Rob if he ever sees this at some point. But I can see Rob having tons of fun with this. Cam, what's
Boros
happening?
Rob. I don't know, my camera
Yeah,
froze, so
Boros
I turned
Rob.
it off and then on again. You know, the IT secret.
Gotcha. Oh yeah.
So,
All right. While we're figuring out your camera, I'll move on to the next one here so we can just keep it rolling.
yeah,
Got
absolutely.
another legendary creature here, potential commander maybe, or more in the 99, but Sammy, Wildcat Captain, a 4/4 human artificer rogue for 4 colorless, a red and a white. Double strike vigilance, those are powerful keywords. Spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. So that seems crazy good, especially in the Boros artifacts matter. We were just talking about Ragos.
Mhm.
If only Sammy had affinity itself, then I think that'd be like a super powerful commander card there.
Definitely.
But giving all spells that you cast affinity for artifacts in an artifacts matters deck. Even I feel like a lot of just decks in general run artifact heavy lately anyway. So
Yeah.
interesting one there.
Yeah. Very
Affinity's a
good.
powerful
Being able to
mechanic for
cast
sure.
a One Ring for free seems
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah,
What'd you say there,
Affinity's definitely a good mechanic. It's always something to keep an eye on. It's like Storm or Dredge. Whenever they slap it on a card, yeah, you should pay attention to it because it might be something really good that's broken. Artifacts are good. Who knew?
Yeah, right. Gotta love power creep over the years too, huh?
Right.
Speaking of, last one I got on the list is a mana rock that's going to let you draw a lot of cards at some point. So, All Fates Scroll. 3 colorless for an artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. And then here's where it gets kind of spicy. 7 generic. Tap and sack this artifact. Draw X cards, where X is the number of differently named lands you control. So can see this in mid to late game, allowing somebody to just catch up, drawing 6+ cards easily. Again, I was just saying, I don't run a lot of basics. I don't feel like I see a lot of basics out there anymore. Certainly only one ofs. I know some decks that run like in my old Kinnan build, I ran 2 forests. One was a forest and one was a snow-covered forest. So right away, 2 different names right there. But yeah, 7 mana can be a bit beefy there, but you could draw a lot of cards off of that.
Yeah, definitely sounds interesting. Kennen always is going to consider any new mana rock, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And easy for Kinnan to get 7 mana. That's how they spin Kinnan, 7 mana already. So, yeah.
Card's got potential.
Yep, definitely got potential. I'll agree with that.
So anyway, those were the, what was that, 11 cards I saw just going through what's currently on Scryfall out of the base or the core set right now. So personally haven't looked at any of the commander stuff yet, but I know you guys have. So
Yeah,
that's
on
what I
that note,
got.
we can pass over to Magician over here because I know he's got some. He was looking through the commander stoofs.
Yeah, I did want to touch on just a few from the main set real quick as well. I'm not going to go into too deep of an explanation, but Umbral Caller Zealot, it is a new black creature that is a free sacrifice outlet. Allows you to also put cards into your graveyard because you are surveilling through it. And it's black and one for a 3/2, and you just sacrifice a creature or artifact, and you surveil one. That's it. It is not a once per turn. It is not lose a life. It is just
Oh,
straight free sack outlet, and it's a creature or artifact, and fill your yard. So
that is pretty good.
sweet creature, sweet
That's gonna
sweet
go in
creature.
my casual Shirai deck for sure.
All right, and then I've got the weapons manufacturing. It is a new enchantment for red and one. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, create a colorless artifact named Munitions with when this token leaves the battlefield, deals 2 damage to any target.
Hmm.
So if you're going through like a um, Clan Ironworks or even like a convoluted Underworld Breach line with LED, this is a new outlet for that. So this is a mono red outlet that you have with like a Wheel of Fortune to be able to feed your yard, or even a um, what is the 2 mana grinding station? Grinding
Yeah.
station with
Wow.
LED. So moving on, another one for Ed and any Marnius players is the Cosmo Grand Zenith. That is a white and 2 for a 2/4. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you create 2/1/1 humans, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So if you are kind of going into the plan B, plan C with Marnius and just making all your 2/2 creatures, this can beef up that army, or you can start making an army. So and drawing you cards with Marnius,
Yeah. Not hard
and
to
it's
get 2 spells out either in a turn.
and it's a 2/4. So it's a Timna blocker and killer. So that's also very very useful.
Yeah, people were talking
And
about
then
this in the Yoshi Thras Discord, or we're
Okay.
discussing
really
that card. Yeah, people. So people are on the fence about it, but they're doing some testing.
sweet, sweet. Well, keep us posted on that. And then I've got the Starfield Vocalist. So another card with Warp. It's a new creature for 3 and a blue. It's a 3/4. Warp cost is 1 and a blue. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So this, I think, would be the better card for Marnius, because then you would be able to draw 2 cards when you create a token.
Sure.
Yeah,
Surprised I overlooked this earlier. I think maybe the
Uh,
4 mana cost, but yeah, the warp in there too.
yep. And then the other breakout commander I think that people might run is Tanuk. Um, the where did he go? Tanuk, Steadfast Second. Red 2 for a 3/5. Other creatures you control have haste, and artifact cards and red creature cards in your hand have warp for red and 2. So it could also be something to sneak, do it. It's a sneak attack commander, um, but it's also a way to get very expensive artifacts into play. Like, oh, I don't know, Portal to Phyrexia.
That was the first thing that came to
So
my mind.
Yeah.
exactly. And then to reach over to the commander set, I just got 2 cards from the commander set that I thought were pretty interesting, and that was the uh, Festering Thicket, which is going to be continuing our dual type fetchable lands that enter the battlefield tapped and have cycling for 2. So this is a pretty good card that now gives a Gitrog player another land that has cycling. Notably, we also did get a red-white version of this as well. I don't know what red-white decks would be profiting off of having a cycling land. I know there is one commander that does care about that, but doesn't really see much play. And then my last card is Solar Array. It is a 3 mana artifact that says tap, add a mana of any color. And when you next cast an artifact this turn, that spell gains Sunburst. And so Sunburst is, if it's a creature, it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. Otherwise, it enters with that many charge counters. There are a lot of cards that care about charge counters, and who doesn't want a huge Solemn Simulacrum, you know? But the thing about Solar Array is that because it adds any mana of any color, it is not restricted to the colors of your commander. So,
Oh,
so if you were
tricky.
to, yes, so if you were to um, play a 4 mana like Solemn Simulacrum, and you only have lands that can produce red, white, and blue, you can tap Solar Array for black, and it'll come in with 4 counters.
Interesting. It's a good little bit of tech there.
Yeah. So that's all I got. That's all kind of that piqued my interest. What about you, Cam? What are you looking at?
I've only got 2 cards really. I was looking a lot at Uthros, Titanic God Core, which is the Tolarian Academy on a land. Enters tapped. You can use it to add a blue to your mana pool, or you can station it. Which we didn't talk about the station mechanic, but that's tap another creature you control, put a charge counter. There you go, charge counters again. Equal to the power on this planet station only, or excuse me, on this planet station only as a sorcery. So it's kind of like a cumulative crew. But all these lands, the 2 lands I'm talking about, they have station 12. So in order to activate the second ability, which is tap a blue, tap this land, add a blue for each artifact you control. So again, it's Tolarian Academy. It's tap a blue and tap Tolarian Academy. Urza is not super prevalent, but I do know that there is a hardcore following. When I went to Fishbowl, I saw at least like 3 other Urza players that were just playing in like redemption events and stuff. So I know it's got a hardcore following, and I think that this is good in Urza. It might be a little bit more, but I think it allows you to do stuff without Urza. Like if your Urza gets killed and you're stuck with like a Construct on the board, Constructs are often 4/4s, 6/6s, 7/7s. So I think it'll have a home in Urza. Outside of that, maybe Joyra. Maybe it helps you continue your storm in Joyra.
Honestly, I thought anything that could maybe potentially play Breeze Caller, because if you do have enough artifacts, it's just an outlet for Breeze Caller to be able to utilize Talon Gates of Madara, similar to what a Gaia's Cradle would do, and you can make infinite mana.
Interesting. But you
Yeah,
have to
you'd
crew
have to
it
have
each time
6.
or
Yeah.
station it.
Correct. It would have to be fully stationed, but if you
Oh,
have
you're
the
yeah. I'm thinking of it wrong. I'm like you bouncing and keep playing this, but no, you keep this one in play and you're untapping it. Yeah.
correct,
I see
yes,
what
you're
you're saying.
untapping it, and then as long as you're making enough mana to be able to put the Talon Gates into play for 4, activate the Abora Breach Caller for 2, and then the 1 for the activation of the land itself.
Yeah,
So as long as
you'd
you're
need
making at
7.
least 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, as long as you're making 8, because then you're netting 1 each time.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, seems like a lot of setup. The station cost just seems so high. I mean, station's got to be better than we're thinking it is. Which leads us to the next card, Evendo Waking Heaven, or Haven, excuse me, which is Gaia's Cradle. Land enters tap, taps for a green, also has station, 12 plus. Pay a green, tap it, add a green for each creature you control.
yeah.
So a lot of people text me when this card came out. A lot of people hit me up, and they were like, either like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," right? Or they were like, "Hey, this is pretty doo doo," right? I think it's bad. I am gonna try it, of course, because it's a potential other cradle. A Boro Breeze Caller could untap it. The paying a green to tap it complicates things a lot because it just
You'll
adds
need an
4
extra
more mana to
creature.
the equation.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, I fetch blue white lands because I know my cradle is going to make green itself. So
Yeah.
the question becomes: is this, if you're looking for a second cradle effect, is this better than Growing Rights of Itlamok? And are you looking for a third cradle effect? Is the next question that comes to mind if you are on Growing Rights of
Right.
Itlamok, which I am. A third cradle is never bad, but it's that station 12, like, and that's coming from somebody who gets his commander up to like 4 or 5, 6 pretty often. But if you look at cradle decks in general, they're not playing big creatures. They're playing a lot of small creatures. Like if you're looking like in my build specifically, most of my creatures are like, okay, Seedborn Muse is 2 toughness, Derevi is 2 toughness, all the dorks are 1 toughness, Fairy
like
Master Mind's 2 or power.
one
Excuse me.
pyroplasm takes you out
Yeah,
unless
and
Yoshi's
like
gotten bigger, right?
yeah, and then like even if I want to, I mean, my biggest things are like Ranger Captain, which is 3, Enduring Vitality, which is 3 power, and so then I think of like, okay, Aberrant Oculus. Do I really want to tap? I spend 1 turn cycle making 3 bodies that are 2/2s. Do I really want to tap all of those bodies down to crew halfway to getting a cradle? And what
Well,
if
even
I
with
have
the
Enduring
Oculus,
Vitality out? Yeah, that would
well, I was
actually get
saying,
you there because that would be 11.
right,
Yeah,
right. And I mean, it costs 12, so you have your Thrasios.
yeah.
But
So
in
it's
this
just
scenario that you have Seedborn too, I mean, you could definitely spend your turn stationing it and then untap on the next upkeep with Seedborn.
you could. I think entering tapped really hinders it because I can't afford, or again, this is just me thinking of it for my deck. I can't afford to have a tap land enter the battlefield at any point in the game unless it's coming off of Thrasios. I have a 1 CMC commander and I run Mana Dorks and I run Candelabra, an Expedition map. I run Esper Sentinel. There is always going to be a turn 1 play. So at no point do I ever want this to come in tapped. At late game, I don't want it to come in tapped. I don't see myself crop rotting for it. I just, that station 12 is just a lot. Like Enduring Vitality, we want to tap our creatures for other things, or we want to keep them up for
Right.
blockers. So I don't know.
Sounds
We'll
like this
see.
is more for the minstrel, right?
Yeah, it'd be sick in
Well,
Minstrel.
Even
Well, no,
Minstrel
because they're
doesn't
not
run
going to
that many
station it.
creatures.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to station it
That's true.
unless
Yeah,
you
their
start playing
biggest creature is
Manlands.
Lumra. Well, that too, but I was like, the
Yeah.
biggest creature they play is Lumra, and at that point, if they're playing Lumra, they're just going for the
Yeah,
win.
going for the win at that point.
Unless you're
Yeah, the
playing like
station
Elf Ball.
12, the station 12, that really is tough on these.
Yeah,
It's if it
definitely.
was stationed at instant speed or if it entered untap, I think it would be I'd consider it for sure because I do
Either
run
of
a lot of
those would-
monocolored lands, but yeah. So
Yeah,
those are
I
the
feel
2
like a
cards I
lot
want
of
to talk
these.
about.
I do feel like a lot of these now Thrasios decks are a lot of Simic decks with that accent color, similar to how Rog Thras or Kark Thras, their decks are very Simic heavy with a little splash of another color.
Yeah.
So I think even if it does only produce one color, it's not too hindering. But yes, the other points that you made with it coming into play tapped and obviously Station 12 is bad. But if it made a colorless instead of a green, yeah, I would say this is probably unplayable.
Yeah, Rogthras is Simic, just straight up. Like I've talked about this ad nauseum. in the Yoshimaru Discord. They play
Ad nauseum's
3 red
black, dude.
cards.
That's not in there. Couldn't help myself.
It-
Sorry.
Brunts.
I was thinking it, but you said it.
Hey, I like the word ad nauseum. What can I say? The
Yeah.
two words, the phrase ad nauseum. But they play 3 red cards. They play Deflecting Swat, they play Breach, and they play Song of Creation. So it's a Simic deck. That's why they get away with running Earthcraft. That's why my deck can't run Earthcraft, because we're so pip heavy. Well, people do run it, but I don't think it's good. Rogthras is Simic, straight up. It's a Simic shell, and yeah, it's just doing its thing.
Yeah, Jessica's will, maybe a ritual or two. But yeah, there's not many red cards in those Simic plus decks. But yeah, Magician, you got a point. There are a lot of things out there that are Thrasios with whatever other partner for whatever color somebody wants.
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
did.
Dargo Thrast. There's not a lot of red. It's Deflecting Swat, Red Blast, Pyroblast, and Breach. Maybe
Yeah.
a Wheel of Fortune. And it's even less in a Rog deck. It's Deflecting Swat and Breach.
Yeah.
So
Well,
But
I'm sure we'll have more cards to talk about once all of Edge of Eternities is released. But that's what we got right now, right? So what was that? I had 11 cards. Cam, you had 2.
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. So
We got
about
about
20 cards there.
20 cards.
We'll have to give it a few weeks and see what people are playing and then talk about it again.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
and hey, chat. Also, Nico's honorable mention. Roast him in the comments. He thinks a null is going to be a good CDH card.
Hey, Tay already threw one out there. I'm just saying it could have its place. Could have its place.
Yeah.
The card's been out since Urza's Saga.
Since
If
I
it's
started
gonna see
playing, I
play,
forgot about it completely. Didn't
if
even
it's gonna
realize it
see
was a
play, it's gonna
reprint.
see play already.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know,
for
man.
sure.
Oboro Collar's been out since Kamigawa. You never
See,
know.
it just takes a couple things, and the old cards all of a sudden become good.
What if this Tellurian Academy we just got printed starts pushing artifacts into the meta and they just run rampant everywhere?
Right.
Then we'll play Spell Pierce.
And consign the memory.
Total missed opportunity to quote reprint Sarah Sanctum on the white planet.
Oh yeah, a
That's a
huge
bummer.
flavor fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, casual players would have loved it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, hell, even CDH players who want to like own the cards, it's still essentially going to be what it is, just like how Cradle and Academy is.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for our Edge of Eternity set review for CEDH. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about in regards to pre-release or in regards to any other cards?
I'm looking forward to the pre-release. I've been enjoying those lately. That's about the only limited thing I do these days. And hella cool reprints. I think a lot of the art on these reprints are going to be a lot of fun. The stellar sites, the borderless stellar sites things. So
Yeah,
some
very
questionable
good
ones
art.
for sure, but yeah, there's a lot of art that I'm looking to just change over to.
Yeah,
Definitely,
a lot of cool
definitely.
arts.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, that is the show. Thanks to everyone who joined us live here tonight. Make sure that you guys tune in with us every other Thursday here at twitch.tv/Camtastic for the live show. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We really do appreciate all the support and thank you all so much. Until next time, stay magical.